Hello and welcome to this video where we'll be going through solving equation GCSE practice questions by the exam board at Excel. If you would like a basic algebra tutorial before attempting these questions, please watch my previous algebra tutorial video. In the meantime, let's get started with these questions. So we've got 1a, solve 2y equals 8. So we want to get y on its own. So what we need to do is divide by 2 on both sides to get y on its own. So therefore we're left with y equals 4. And that's our answer. So for B, it says solve t minus 4 equals 7. So what we're going to do is add 4 to both sides to get t on its own. And what you do to one side, you must do to the other. That's why we're plussing 4 on both sides. So then we've got t equals 7 add 4, which is 11. So for C, it says solve x divided by 4 equals 3. So since we're dividing by 4, we want to times by 4 to get x on its own, because we must do the inverse. So times by 4, must do the same to the other side. So you've got x equals 3 times by 4, which is 12. So x equals 12. So for 2a, we've got y divided by 3 equals 6. So what we're going to do, as in the previous example, going to times. So going to times by 3 on both sides. So we've got y equals 6 times by 3, which equals 18. Fantastic. So for 2b, we've got 7y equals 54. So what we need to do is divide both sides by 7. So 7y divided by 7 is y. And 54 divided by 7 doesn't give you a whole number. So in your exam, you can just leave it as 54 divided by 7. Or if you're allowed a calculator, you can find the actual value. But for now, we'll just leave it as 54 divided by 7. So for C, it says solve 2t minus 5 equals 9. What we need to do is add 5 to both sides to get 2t equals 14. And then we have to divide by 2 on both sides. So that gives you t equals 7. So for question 3, we've got 4w equals 20. So we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. And that leaves you with w equals 5. So solve x minus 6 equals 3. So plus 6 on both sides, because we've got to do the inverse to get x on its own. So x equals 9. So for C, solve y divided by 3 equals 7. So we've got to times by 3 on both sides. And then you've got y equals 21. So question 4, we've got 3x equals 12. So to get x on its own, we divide by 3 on both sides. So we get x equals 4. So for B, y minus 7 equals 5. So plus 7 on both sides. So you got y equals 12. So for C, we've got solve 2t plus 8 equals 3. So what we're going to do to get t on its own is minus 8 from both sides. So that gives you 2t equals 3 minus 8. And 3 minus 8 is minus 5. So now you want to divide by 2 on both sides. So divide by 2. Oh, let's move it up here. It's a bit squashed. So 2t divided by 2 equals t. And minus 5 divided by 2, we can just leave like this. And that actually equals minus 2.5 if you want to write it like that. Either answer is fine. So t equals minus 5 over 2. So for D, we've got 2y divided by 5 equals 4. So we've got to times by 5 on both sides. So you've got, this leaves you with 2y equals 20. Then divide by 2 on both sides to get y equals 10. So y equals 10. So for 5a, similar as the previous examples, just got to divide by 6 to get g on its own, divide by 6. So this leaves you with g equals 3. So B says solve y plus 5 equals 12. So we've got a minus 5 from both sides to get y on its own. That leaves you with y equals 7. So for C, got x divided by 4 equals 3. So times by 4 on both sides. So that leaves you with x equals 12. So for D, 5h plus 7 equals 17. So to get h closer to being on its own, we've got a minus 7 from both sides. So we've got 5h equals 10. So then we've got 5h equals 10. So let's divide by 5 on both sides. So you've got h equals 2. H equals 2. Oop, and I forgot to insert it up top here. So x equals 12. So for 6a, we've got b minus 7 equals 12. So we're going to plus 7 on both sides. So that's going to be b equals 19. So I'm sure you're getting the hang of this now. So let's try and get through the remaining questions. So we've got 5e equals 40. So we divide by 5 on both sides. So this leaves you with e equals 8. So for C, we've got 4m plus 6 equals 15. So 4m, so we've got to take away 6 on both sides. And that leaves you with 4m equals 9. So we've got to divide by 4 on both sides. Divide by 4. So this leaves you with m equals 9. Ooh, let's move it up here. 9 divided by 4, and you can just leave it in that form. So for D, we've got 5w minus 6 equals 10. It's going to plus 6 on both sides. So this is going to give you 5w equals 16. So you've got to divide by 5 on both sides. And then you get w equals 16 divided by 5. So, for question number 7. So, for 7a, we've got 4x plus 1 equals 9, minus 1 from both sides, which equals 4x equals 8. So, we've got to divide by 4 on both sides, like so. So, we've got x equals 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So, for 7b, we've got 2x minus 5 equals 4, so we add 5 to both sides. Add 5 to both sides. So we've got 2x equals 9. So then we divide by 2, and that leaves you with x equals 9 divided by 2, which also equals 4.5. So 4.5 here. So next we've got solve 2y plus 1 equals 12. So we add 1 to both sides, just like so. So we've got 2y equals 13, divided by 2 on both sides, So we've got y equals 13 divided by 2. So you can just leave it like that if you want. Or you could write equals 6.5. Either answer is fine. So now we've got 8a, which is 4x plus 1 equals 19. Minus 1 from both sides, which gives you 4x equals 18. So then we divide by 4 on both sides, which equals x equals 18 divided by 4, which can also be simplified to 9 divided by 2. So x equals 9 divided by 2, and you can also write that as 4.5. So for B, minus 3 from both sides, And then you're left with 4x equals 16. So divide by 4 on both sides, divide by 4 on both sides, and you get x equals 4. So for C, we've got 2q plus 7 equals 1. So you've got a minus 7 from both sides, minus 7 from both sides. So you're left with 2q equals 1 minus 7, which is minus 6. So you divide it by 2 on both sides, divide by 2 on both sides. So now you've got q equals minus 6 divided by 2, which equals minus 3. So q is minus 3. So for number 9, we've got solve x plus x plus x equals 15. So x plus x plus x equals 3x equals 15. So we've got to divide by 3 on both sides, divide by 3 on both sides. So when we divide by 3 on both sides, we're left with x equals 5. X equals 5. So for B, we add 7 to both sides. So that equals 6x equals 45. So we're left, if we divide by 6 on both sides, we are left with x equals 45 divided by 6. That's your final answer. So for C, we've got 7x plus 18 equals 74. Minus 18 from both sides, like so. Now we've got 7x equals 56. So we divide by 7 on both sides to get x on its own. And then you have x equals 8, just like so. So 10a is 2y, add 3 equals 8. So we're going to minus 3 from both sides. Gives you 2y equals 5. So then you want to divide by 2 on both sides. So your final answer is y equals 5 over 2, also, which is 2.5. So yep, you can write anything in the answer box. Well, not anything, 5 over 2 or 2.5. And you'd get a mark for either answer. So I'm just going to pick 2.5. So for B, now we've got to expand some brackets. So we've got 5 times t, which equals 5t. Then 5 times minus 3, which equals minus 15, equals 25. So now we've got to add 15 to both sides. 15 to both sides, just like so. So now we've got 5t equals 40. So you want to divide by 5, divide by 5. And now we've got t equals 8. So t equals 8. So we've got C, we've got to expand the brackets again. So 4 times 5y equals 20y. 4 times minus 2 equals minus 8, which equals 48. So we want to add 8 to both sides to get rid of the minus 8 on this side. So now we have 20y equals 56. So now we've got to divide by 20 on both sides. Divide by 20. So now we have y equals 56 divided by 20. And we can simplify this. So we can have 28 divided by 10. Or we can even simplify it further. We can have 14 divided by 5. So y equals 14 divided by 5. So we're going to actually leave it there. For the next part of the video, we're going to be, which is part 2, we're going to be looking at when we have variables on both sides. So when we have x on both sides of the equation. But we're going to leave it there for now. So tune into part 2 if you want to learn more. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.